Alright, here we are. Game 3 between Infamous and Infamous Young in this Infamous Bowl semi-final for the closed qualifiers of the PGL Minor in Bucharest. Take a look at the picks from both sides. Infamous goes Silencer and Earthshaker, while Infamous Young, they're going more for mobility with Wisp and Nature's Prophet. Take a look at these bans thus far. Bristleback, Coddle, Monkey King, and Quap from Infamous, while Infamous Young ban out the Venomancer, Night Stalker, Storm, and Sven.
So, Infamous Young, they open up with Wisp, which is usually a pretty solid first pick. It kind of changes up your playstyle a little. It's a lot more faster. You're all over the map, and Wisp generally helps win a dual lane, usually. Infamous, they respond with Silencer and Earthshaker, so Silencer is good against Wisp, obviously, because if the Wisp really relocates, then it's harder for the Wisp duo to do anything because they're silenced. And usually when you play against Wisps, you want one of two things. Either you want to be able to group up and fight and prevent any like severe split pushing from the enemy team, or you want to actually have heroes that can escape a relocate gank. And I think so far it looks like they're ready to use the silence and use the Earthshaker Necrophos to help fight into the Wisp. And Infamous Young, they follow up the Wisp pick with Nature's Prophet, which should help them split up lanes and look for potential pickoffs or some Rat Dota.
Don't we just love that Rat Dota? And you take a look, Infamous on the other end, they pick up that Necro, so something that has pretty much been banned every single game. First ban phase makes it to the second pick phase and is picked up by Infamous.
Yep. Pickoff potential from Infamous looks a lot stronger than Infamous Young's right now, but Wisp is a hero that can save people from Reaper Scythe, although you have to be pretty quick. Let's see. Tuska, pretty good position for a roaming hero. Pretty good with Wisp too when you combine the two. That the move speed bonus from the Wisp tether helps the Tusk a lot, and also just being able to take more hits helps Tusk a lot as well. Infamous though, they pick up Weaver, and there's really no answer from Infamous Young for this Weaver. The only stun they have is Snowball and Walrus Punch, but that's not the most reliable way to lock down a Weaver, and so I really like this Weaver pick, and it also gives them a hero that lanes, or that doesn't lose the lane to Nature's Prophet, so pretty good pick. Infamous Young, they have to pick up their fourth hero here. I'd like to see some more, perhaps more lockdown, or maybe some way of dealing with the Necrophos. I think a hero like Lina might work out really well for them.
Here's the Radiant Band. Ember Spirit.
So I go with Ember. A little bit interesting to me because I feel like there's a lot of potential to burst in this game with, especially with Earthshaker and Necrophos and Global Silence, so see how that pans out for them. The one thing that Ember does have that helps Infamous Young a lot is just the mobility to help split push and create pickup potentials for Wisp relocates, and also a little bit of magic damage to help deal with Necrophos.
It seems as though, you know, you've got an Ember Spirit who's probably getting boots to travel early, Nature's Prophet who can move around with teleportation. They're just looking to really be mobile, at least with their safe laner.
Yep. They have a lot of options for their safe laner. You can go with something like a Chaos Knight. Sven's bad, so that's out of the question, so it could pretty much be anything. You could even combine the Wisp with the Ember and just go for like a safe laner that doesn't have to rely on the Wisp, but you know, some typical Wisp combination: Wisp Sven, Wisp CK, Wisp Tiny. Probably a lot that I'm missing, so we'll find out in the next minute or so.
Can we see Void come out?
Void feels a little funny because it doesn't synergize well with Ember Spirit and Tusk. And also, if they pick Void, they might lack the amount of damage required to deal with Infamous's lineup. especially when Infamous have so much burst potential. But Void wouldn't be bad because he's a defusal buyer, and you really need a defusal blade or at least some perma lockdown for the Necrophos.
Juggernaut TA banned out. We're into this last pick for Infamous Young. A lot of mobility for him. We'll see if Infamous is able to handle this. They don't really have, and even with this Anti-Mage, that's more mobility. But even with the Anti-Mage, it seems like they don't have a lot to lock down this Weaver.
Yep. It gives Anti-Mage, or it gives Infamous Young a win condition though, right? The Anti-Mage gets really fat. Infamous's lineup isn't exactly configured to burst down an Anti-Mage, especially if there's a Wisp healing him, so Anti-Mage to me is like, it's like sort of a forced win condition. You wait for that timing with the Battle Fury and the Manta, and then you try to just win the game from there. So there's really not a lot of ways for Infamous to deal with this, and they answer the Anti-Mage with their own kind of forced win condition hero, which is Alchemist. I mean, Alchemist goes for that armlet, probably gets Radiance and then a couple of tank items, and then just barrels down a lane and tries to win the game from there. So I think this game, it really comes down to who hits their item timings at a better time. Anti-Mage obviously takes a lot longer than the Alchemist to start contributing to his team, so I certainly see a scenario where this Ember Spirit just becomes strong enough to terrorize the enemy team while creating space for his Anti-Mage.
And then everybody on the side of this Alchemist does have Ag's opportunities as well.
Yep. And Necrophos Aghanim's is surprisingly strong, especially after that nerf to the Necrophos Reaper Scythe cooldown. I think they increased the cooldown to 60 seconds, and if you have the Scepter on Necrophos, it puts this cooldown to 25 seconds, which is pretty ridiculous.
So, we'll be starting this game 3 in just a moment, as we get the...
Game 1 was paused, then Infamous won. Game 2 was not paused at the start of the game, and they lost, so clearly the pauses are helping Infamous. Kappa. Surprisingly long day for just 2 series, actually. I think we started
6 o'clock.
6 hours ago, yeah. A couple of games went pretty long, and well, that last game went pretty long as well, so...
Both series went 3 games, too.
We'll have to see how this game goes, though. I definitely think it's easier for the Anti-Mage team to win, just because they're better in the late game. Like, Anti-Mage pretty much blows up every hero on Radiant's team with just Abyssal Manta, so the only one he might not kill is Alchemist, but like if Necrophos gets caught without Ghost Shroud on, he's pretty much dead to the Anti-Mage, and wouldn't be surprised if Anti-Mage even picks up a defusal. Although that would be a pretty bad waste of gold, maybe, compared to Abyssal.
So, we finally get this game underway. The thing I kind of worry about, at least for Infamous Young, is their lack of catch for the Weaver, and really for anybody on this team.
But it doesn't quite matter. I mean, it matters and it doesn't. The reason why it doesn't matter is because the Anti-Mage, fundamentally, he catches people on his own at some point with Manta Defusal, Battle Fury, and so...
Patience from Zoe.
Or sorry, did I say Manta Defusal? I meant Manta Abyssal. And so he can catch people on his own. It's just like, if Infamous decide to group up and just end the game before that happens, then that's their win condition. And really, it's a game of, for both teams, it's a game of slowing down the opponent's farm progression. enough that their farmer can get farmed enough to end the game. So in this case, Alchemist probably wants a couple of items, and then they'll get Aegis and try to get racks, and then from there just win the game. But Infamous Young, they're gonna try to make as much happen on the map as possible, get as much farm on this anti-mage, and I imagine this anti-mage is gonna actually be uncontested in the safe lane. He's got the heals from the Wisp, and Weaver's not exactly the kind of hero that's equipped to harass a anti-mage out of the lane, at least not as a offlaner.
Another pause comes out here, and I don't know if you saw it, but there was a treant that came around this area, and it was one shot from being killed. The Alchemist starts his last hit. Silencer just snagged it away, and that's why they pinged him out and used the Crybaby.
Calculated.
Internal fighting. Could this be next Dota scandal or drama?
I'm sure one of them's just in the washroom or having a snack after a long series.
Yeah, they are starting these games pretty consecutively. No
I
downtime.
could use some protein right now. Didn't get to eat a spoonful of peanut butter before this game.
Yeah, I should do that too, or get one of the sriracha chicken meat bars that I have. Actually, really delicious.
What on earth? Yeah, I love sriracha, but I never understood how people keep buying these products where it's like sriracha inspired or sriracha flavored.
Up top, Silencer,
Products.
one more shot. Should be first blood. Roshan might steal it. No, Tuski's gonna get it. It's you know, it's just sriracha flavoring. It's not like sriracha inspired or anything. I'd like it to be much spicier.
Got some FYM hot sauce, my friend. I'm just kidding. No endorsements happening here. Nature's Prophet versus Necrophos in the top lane. Antimage surprisingly playing from the off lane by himself, which is a little bizarre. I mean, I've seen this before, I think. I can't remember where, but it worked out because the one-on-one matchup was good for the anti-mage, and he had the supports helping him out. But the supports were busy killing the Silencer in the river.
Well, they are starting to make their way over, so could see them start to win.
I feel like this was their original intended laning configuration. They just had a kill.
Yeah. I mean, they got first blood, so Tusk with first blood is always nice. Get him to a quick...
I think the ideal scenario for a Wisp anti-mage lane is one where the anti-mage is trading hits with the single lane opponent, and then the Wisp is healing him up, since trading with an anti-mage is very good when you burn their mana. So a little bit of an interesting laning configuration, but I won't bash it too much more. As long as the anti-mage gets farmed, that's all they care about. But
oh, actually, Ember Spirit getting very low with that Flame Guard on. He's gotta be careful. He's got the Tusk coming around. If anybody was here for the side of Infamous, could have definitely been a kill going their way.
This is definitely a lane that I don't think it favors Alchemist, because as soon as the Ember gets level 5 or 6, the Alchemist has to be a little careful. But that being said, the Flame Guard doesn't really help against the physical damage of the Acid Spray, so Alchemist is fine for the first couple of levels.
And Tusk, no Snowball, just Ice Shard, so him coming over, not sure how much it's really gonna benefit their side. And you take a look. Shaker just trying to find himself some farm, looking like he's just trying to make stacks for his Alchemist, and does not get one there as it's blocked by the Tusk anyway.
Tusk also blocked the herd camp under the tier 1 mid.
Yeah, so they know that the Alchemist really wants to get those stacks, and if he could stop them and make sure this Alchemist doesn't get out of control, we'll definitely be okay with that.
Well, they do deplete most of Weaver's mana, so anti-mage should be okay for the time being. And bit of a skirmish happening in the bottom river here.
They're just going back and forth between the Tusk and the Earthshaker. You've got Anti-Mage here with the Wisp, so I don't really see any trouble for him. Obviously, the Silence could come out, and if they had another one to go after the Anti-Mage, maybe they get a kill, but he should be pretty safe, all things considered.
Well, taking a look at net worth, Anti-Mage is, I guess you shouldn't compare him to the Alchemist, because the Alchemist literally prints money, but if you compare him to, I guess, an actual laner like the Ember Spirit, you notice he's 700 behind, so he's not at full farming capacity.
And Necro low on mana. It's everything's sapped out of him. They've got Wisp and Anti-Mage now over top. You take a look over mid. Level 2 is this Tusk, so they do now have Snowball and Ice Shards if this Tusk does want to start making rotations.
Yeah, I think this is the lane configuration that they wanted, the Anti-Mage against the Necrophos. I'm just curious as to why that didn't happen before, but now the Anti-Mage should actually have a lane that he can farm, but we've got a Weaver back up here.
With the Silencer again, so they make the rotation, and Infamous will do the same.
Yep. Tusk is coming in, so I'm pretty sure the Silencer, or the why is the Weaver up here with 0 mana, actually?
Starting to run away, and Anti-Mage blinks forward onto the Silencer. Might be another kill for him, and will be. But the Fissure hits on 3, so they're going to try and maybe find something on the return, but Anti-Mage okay with the Wisp. Tusk runs away. The Fissure not really looking that beneficial for the side of Infamous. And Infamous Young up 2-0 against a team where, you know, Alchemist could snowball really hard, but they're looking to keep everything maintained.
Yep. This Ember's level 6 now, so some potential for some rotations. I imagine the Ember's just going to stick around until he's level 7 or 8, though.
Think about these Alchemist lineups. You realize they're not really doing as well as they like when this net worth lead is just under like 2,000.
Yep. I think their Weaver's really hurt from trying to pressure this Anti-Mage, but I mean, they're right to attempt so, and Necrophos starting to get some free farm bottom. I wonder what the Nature's Prophet's been up to, actually. See him running around the jungle.
He's already level 6.
Maybe he was trying to plant some wards. Nope.
He's
so Tusk rotating in mid. I think there's vision of this stuff going on, and
haste for the Necro. They might even want to go in over mid. They've got the Earthshaker ready with the Fissure. Nature's Prophet ult's going to come through. There it is with the heal. Through the Flame Guard, not going to be enough. So they're going to lose their Wisp up top. They'll take the kill onto the Weaver as well. They'll get the Silencer here as another prize. They don't lose their Ember. They eat through that Reaper Scythe. And everything is okay for the side of Infamous Young, now up 4-1.
Yep, Anti-Mage being healed up to the full. So, I think Anti-Mage is in a really good spot, because there's really nothing that Radiant can do. I mean, this hero's good against Necrophos, good against Weaver, and doesn't exactly die to this Alchemist, so as long as they get farm on him, as long as they control the lane and make sure he's getting last hits on lane creeps, I think this Anti-Mage will have a pretty decent Treads Battle Fury timing.
Take another look over mid. Alchemist just sitting over as much as he can, but here comes the Wisp. They're getting the body blocks. Nature's Prophet makes his way over. They've got the Ice Shards. Alchemist will hit the deck. They look for another in Earthshaker. Necro TP's in for some reason, and he looks like he's going to be the next victim of this heavy push from the side of Infamous Young. So 7-1 in favor of Infamous Young against this Alchemist lineup. They have a 2,000 net worth lead. And actually, Anti-Mage comes in again, just hitting away on this Weaver and dies. Tries to man fight both the Silencer and the Weaver.
It's a little bit of an interesting blink there, but maybe he was unexpecting the Silencer to be there. Certainly if he had Mana Void, that Weaver would have died, though. And,
Yes.
For now, anti-mage TP's bottom. Probably not where he wants to be, but his team is certainly doing well on his behalf, so there's always that scenario where his team will make space for him and anti-mage will eventually just farm up a storm. Problem is getting to that battle fury, which accelerates his farm so much.
Not looking terribly bad at third in the net worth lead for his team. He's had an alright time.
Dire. Smoking into the jungle. I think they'll find this alchemist. They'll find the Earthshaker instead. Will they go for him? They miss the
Flight of Fist is gonna miss, as well as the Searing Chains. The Fissure's gonna hit onto this Ember Spirit. Now he's gonna continue to move forward with the Remnant, getting very low as his Earthshaker. He'll drop. Now the Alchemist looks to be next. Double kill there for the Ember Spirit. It's just coming up Millhouse for the side of Infamous Young.
Millhouse.
That's right? Coming up Millhouse?
Coming up Millhouse, the episode where he's got there's like Springfield is flooding and he's got the cargo shorts which keep his legs and the contents of his pockets dry.
Cargo shorts.
If I recall, I think it's that episode.
Makes me want to watch it. Probably after this. I'll take a look. They go after this Tusk, who's going to snowball into the face of the Necro. Not going to be able to get a kill there. Reaper Scythe off cooldown, but not low enough is this Tusk.
You know, the nerf to Necrophos' Reaper Scythe cooldown was actually a huge nerf. I'm pretty sure it was enough of a nerf to this hero to make him not good. And
Nature's Prophet moves forward. Remnants come in. And there's the Veil. Snowball hits with the Searing Chains. Ghost Shroud to keep himself alive, but it won't last long enough. Another kill for the Ember Spirit. Now 5-0 already.
And one of the strengths with Necrophos before was that he could just keep fighting, because he basically just keep refueling his HP and mana by killing things. And with that lower cooldown Reaper Scythe in the previous patch, he was able to just help his team get so much done. But now that the cooldown's long, it's actually considerably long enough that the enemy team will consider playing around it.
So 10-2 in favor of Infamous Young.
They
don't look like they're going to be stopped anytime soon. Earthshaker TP's in. Reaper Scythe again. Not enough. So Wisp is here to keep this anti-mage alive. Nature's Prophet gets out. They use the Reaper Scythe to no avail again. And it just seems like Infamous have no answers to this lineup that Infamous Young has put together.
Yep. The one reprieve, though, is that this Weaver's been doing a really good job of pressuring the anti-mage, always in the lane that the anti-mage is in, and anti-mage doesn't have enough health regen to really trade hits with this Weaver. I think the Wisp should probably spend more time around the AM for the time being.
Looking like Infamous Young are about to be called just Infamous with a win here from the main squad instead.
And this Alchemist is starting to hit his item timings, getting quite close to a Radiance, and so I mean, I can't say it's going to be an easy battle for them to win, but certainly with this Radiance they can start fighting and maybe start making things happen. And this Battle Fury is sufficiently slowed down that Anti-Mage won't be seen for another 10 minutes or so, unless he starts getting kills.
Looks towards this Weaver. Shikuchi's out, but Anti-Mage's just sitting nearby, knowing that the Nature's Prophet is coming in soon, or at least nearby to help out if anything goes wrong. They're going to use that ult.
Are they waiting for someone to go on the anti-mage? That's what it feels like, at least, but Necrophos is bottom, so is the 4 of the Radiant heroes, and the only one up here is a Weaver. I don't think they'll catch him, though.
Nearby, Shikuchi over to the right. Spirits hit, so they know he's around. They've got themselves the Ward Vision on the Weaver. It's away at the Tusk Illusion. Shikuchi's away after losing that top tier 1.
Yep, they got the tower kill with anti-mage, which should help him get his Battle Fury a little sooner. They have Relocate on Wisp now, so they can pretty much make anything happen. The only problem is the only initiation, as you mentioned at the start of the game, is Infamous Young. Pretty much have to start all their fights for now with Tusk and Ember, which isn't the most reliable, and that kind of reduces the potential for relocate ganks. That being said, Anti-Mage is getting a lot of damage on this top tier too.
They're trying to bring down Radiant's top tower.
Meanwhile, there's a fight happening
take a
mid.
look. This Alchemist trying to charge up the stun. He throws it over towards the Tusk. He's going to be behind these Ancients, charge up that Snowball. The Alchemist dead once more. They look towards getting themselves this Necro, who's trying to find at least a target for the Reaper Scythe. Ghost Shroud's going to be used. He finally gets to slam down on the Tusk, but all things considered, that's not really the best target. Weaver's still here. Wisp alive. Fissure will take care of him, and it's a 2 for 2. Ember just trying to run away from this Weaver. I don't think they have enough to kill him off, and Ember will successfully TP out. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage just continuing to farm up top, push this creep wave, cut it, so this tier 2 already down to half health. You take a look over at the Weaver, who just drops to Nature's Prophet.
I mean, Nature's Prophet has an Orca. He's super farmed. This Weaver's not going to have any anti-stance mechanics for a really long time. He's got a Diffusal Blade recipe. Is that it?
Yeah.
And that won't help him at all. So, I mean, the big part of that fight was the Anti-Mage lived and the Alchemist died. So, the two quote-unquote win conditions for the teams, I guess one of them died and the other one kept farming.
They find the Alchemist again. There it is. Veil, Remnants. Alchemist getting quite low and will drop one more time. Nature's Prophet gets another kill. He's got that double damage, taking out the Alchemist one more time, and finds himself possibly another in the Necro. Necro over here, despite knowing his Alchemist just died in this spot. That'll be 15 to 4. The Snowball comes in, not going to hit on either of these heroes. Fissure going to miss. They look to get the Silencer kill. Last word, not going to do anything. Earthshaker drops 4 dead. Just like that.
Yep. It's really crucial ward on the Spire between the tier 2s for Radiant, giving Dire so much information about the heroes and potential heroes to kill. So 4 quick pickoffs really just solidifies the lead for Infamous Young, and I think Anti-Mage getting really close to his Battle Fury.
While he continues to just push bottom tier 2 uncontested.
A really odd thing for Infamous now is they were pretty much banking on the Radiant's timing on the Alchemist to start fighting and start getting things done, but they're going to need more than that now. They're going to need some initiation from the Earthshaker. They're going to need a really good fight with Global Silence as well. This Weaver and this Necrophos are behind.
Take a look. Ember continuing to go in on the Necro. Fissure is going to hit, but really, what is it going to do? Echo Slam also really doesn't do too much. Remnant to avoid the totem. They get the kill on the Earthshaker. Another one on the Necro. 19 to 4. Infamous Young as they continue to steamroll this Infamous team.
Radiant's bottom tower faces a stiff wind. Radiant structures are fortified.
Actually, take a look over. Walrus Punch on the Alchemist. Global Silence comes out. How much is it really going to do? The Alchemist might get a kill. And as I say that, Tusk gets away for now. Weaver comes over. Ice Shards try to save his life. It could be a second one for Weaver as he picks off the Wisp. And now starting to retreat is Infamous Young. Getting away from this Infamous team. Nope, Reaper Scythe on the Ember. A nice 3 kills for the side of Infamous this time around.
Yep. During all of that, Anti-Mage picks up his Battle Fury, ready to farm up a Storm. Bottom tower taking a little bit of damage here. Anti-Mage really isn't scared of anything right now. Global and Necro also are on cooldown, so...
Pushing bottom tier 3 already. Just 17 minutes, 45 seconds into this game.
Retreating to farm for now, but... I suppose that fight really went well for Infamous only because Infamous Young ran in with such little health. I think half of their heroes were half health when they ran into that fight. And, Nature's Prophet picks up a double damage. Looks like they're going to start getting working on Roche.
Should be the first Roche of the game. This is going to go the way of Infamous Young, most likely. Rotations from the side of Infamous. They're going to be far and few between, even if they do come this way. They don't have vision over there. They don't know how many heroes are in that Roche pit. There's just no way they can move over there. If they commit the big numbers, Anti-Mage will still continue to just push bottom.
Yep.
Loses tier 2 top. Nobody's defending up top there anyway.
It's quite hard for Infamous to defend. I mean, they have to dedicate a lot, and they have to make sure they actually get something out of it, because there's a lot of opportunity cost when the Alchemist goes to fight and gets nothing out of it. And now Alchemist content farming. I think he's just gonna hope that they get the fight of their lifetime in the next 5 minutes.
Gonna be tough. Anti-Mage already has himself that Battle Fury. They find the Alchemist again. Coming over with the relocate is going to be Wisp. They've already got the Snowball as well as the Walrus Punch. They get themselves one. Tusk might drop, but the Wisp is here. Anti-Mage with the ulti cleans up the Earthshaker. Silencer drops. The Aegis will finally be popped. They kill off the Tusk as well as the Wisp, but those are just the lonely supports that, at this point, this far into the pace, or really into past these tier 2s, they don't need. So, they'll take the Tusk death, they'll take the Wisp death, TP away. I think they'll look for the Reaper Scythe, not going to get it. And Anti-Mage and Ember are just going to walk away.
Yep. Pretty good exchange for Dire there. I mean, they do lose the Aegis, but that's another Alchemist kill, and whenever an Alchemist dies, it's pretty much like a pinata of gold. 7k net worth ahead on Dire.
In front of an Alchemist team.
Yep. And eventually the Alchemist, or the Anti-Mage is going to be in a position to solo kill people.
Necro in a lot of trouble. There's the Orchid, Snowball, Walrus Punch, Ice Shards. One more shot from the Nature's Prophet. They get the kill there. Silencer off the screen is going to drop as well to the Ember Spirit. They look towards getting themselves the Tusk, but again, when you trade like this, they're okay to give it up, as Tusk finally drops to the Weaver's Swarm. You take a look as Nature's Prophet continuing to run away from this Weaver, but has himself the Shadow Blade, so he might be able to turn this around. They have the Orchid ready to go if anybody else is here with a relocate coming in, but that is still on cooldown now, finally off cooldown. And they might just go in.
It's pretty much the side of the map that Anti-Mage wants to be on right now. The enemy jungle, in between the mid and safe lane for Radiant, just farming these camps, keeping the lanes pushed out, making sure the enemy team feels pressured that they can't leave their side of the map. And so Anti-Mage really isn't scared of anything at the moment. There's no blink on the Earthshaker. Really, in order to kill them, they have to dedicate Global and Reaper Scythe.
Nature's Prophet comes over with that Shadow Blade, and the Orchid cleans up the Silencer. So another kill there for him. He is 10-0. And actually, Weaver showing up top again, so they might be able to grab themselves another, especially with a nice relocate after an Orchid Shadow Blade. And there it is, Shadow Blade moving up towards the Weaver. And the Sentry should be there to spot the Nature's Prophet if he comes forward anyway.
Maybe the Wisp wasn't ready, or maybe they're afraid actually, because there's 3 heroes missing from Dire, or from Radiant, from Infamous. Looks like there's a Radiance coming out on Ember. That should increase his farm speed and damage output by a lot.
Already has Boots of Travel Veil, so Boots of Travel Veil Radiance. Seemingly pre-25 minutes.
That will melt the Necrophos if Necrophos ever uses Ghost Shroud. But for now, Infamous Young, they pretty much have all the map control. They pretty much have the game in their control as well. They're just really just waiting for the Anti-Mage to get his items. Looks like he's going for Lincoln Sphere next. And I think as soon as the next Roshan appears, Infamous Young are gonna snag it.
Nature's Prophet almost has a Bloodthorn complete, just needs to buy the recipe. Radiant's now finished 23 minutes into the game. Their net worth for each of these heroes is crazy for 23 minutes.
Yep. I mean, there's a ton of kills, ton of towers, but also, you know, whenever you kill a teammate of the Alchemist or the Alchemist himself, you get more gold just because the Alchemist is inflated.
Alchemist does have Radiance and almost a Manta of his own, but he doesn't have those items, and Ember already has Radiance Veil, Boots of Travel, on top of which the rest of the team is so farmed. Where's really the answer? Do they just fully rely on the Alchemist to make something happen? He's tied 5 times. He's 0-5-7.
I mean, whenever you have a Necrophos, you can always come back into the game with Reaper Scythe. I mean, that spell is so good for getting pickoffs and making them count, so as long as they somehow get kills off of that eventually. I think the problem is they feel like they're not ready to do so. I don't know what items they can possibly get. I mean, there's a Linken's coming up on the Weaver. Really, I think the only way they win is if they somehow dish out enough damage with the Weaver and Alchemist that they start getting pickoffs. The Earshaker just sitting on passive gold until he has his blink.
Now, Anti-Mage is going Linken's. Obviously, you know, there is the Ags possibility. If he had just... Why not just go Ags with what... There's not many things that can break the Ags. Things like Reaper Scythe and Weaver the only two. Meanwhile, oh my god. Clean up that Weaver.
I think the big thing about the Linken's versus Ags are... Yes, the Ags provides a lot of utility, but the stats on the Linken's are really nice too, and that mana regen helps you afford the -1 blink cooldown cost, and if you're gonna get one or the other, I think having a little bit of mana regen provides you with like infinite blinks, right? And that might be a lot more helpful, but I mean, Aghanim's is definitely better in some games, just not this one. Like, it doesn't really matter if he reflects a the main two things he's reflecting is the Alchemist stun and the Reaper Scythe, so it doesn't really benefit him if he reflects those two spells, since it's probably on a BKB Alchemist or full health Necrophos.
Continue to push over mid, get to that tier 3, heads up top to push over there while the rest of his team is bottom pushing out.
I mean, you can tell Infamous is in a bad situation because they haven't killed a single tier 1, and all of the lanes are on their side of the map. So are all the wards, actually. Infamous Young have wards pretty much everywhere outside of Infamous's base, so it's only the Alchemist that can farm safely at the moment. Which I guess isn't a bad thing, but doesn't mean that they're slowly gonna get out-farmed despite having an Alchemist. And by slowly, I mean very quickly. So there's a Bloodthorn on the Nature's Prophet. That's pretty much deadly on anyone it gets casted on, especially if Anti-Mage is hitting the target.
And we're trying to get his blink and blade. Now Linken's is finished for the Anti-Mage.
Yep. Next item is Butterfly. I guess he's not going for an Abyssal, he's going
bottom.
I guess the pushing style.
Weaver nearby with a Sentry Ward to catch out this Nature's Prophet if he comes through. The ulti is going to be used just to continue to push out these lanes, and you've got Roche back up in 54 seconds, which might be what Infamous Young are really waiting on.
Yep. I think they're waiting for Roche, and they're probably going to try to get at least that Talisman of Evasion on the Anti-Mage, which will make him very difficult to kill, especially if he has a Wisp healing him before the Aegis life or before the Cheese life, and
so they try to smoke.
I'm pretty sure they're going to end the game off of that.
Try to smoke to get the Roche down for 30 more seconds. Backing off is going to be Infamous Young. They don't have a smoke of their own just
It's a little unlucky because I feel like they may have been able to sneak it, but I guess Infamous Young are also alert to that. The thing that makes it so hard for Infamous to gank is it's really obvious when they leave their base. There's wards outside their base. The Alchemist pretty much is always showing in a lane, so Infamous Young can always play around that, and Infamous basically need all 5 of their heroes to make a kill on the Anti-Mage happen.
And that's just the one hero, so...
Yep, and there's a couple of heroes
coming around the back of this Alchemist. There is the Shard's not going to reach. The Relocate comes in with the Anti-Mage and the Wisp. He's going to stop that TP with his ulti. Here comes the Snowball as well as the Bloodthorn. They're trying to hit away on this Alchemist. Global Silence is used as well as the stun. But there it is with the Lincoln's. Not going to stop this Anti-Mage. They'll continue to move on forward. He's getting quite low. Here comes the TP of the Ember. They'll just continue to chase this Alchemist down as he runs through their jungle. Still haven't gotten the kill just yet. There's the Remnant as well as the stun. Bloodthorn from the Nature's Prophet, and they actually just won't even get it.
Well, the Great Escape. Got Gwen Stefani. Sorry, I'll take that back. Anyway, I guess back to regular scheduled programming, anti-mage farming. They're gonna go for Roshan. I mean, really nothing lost except their dignity and time, but it could be a bad fight for Dire, actually.
Echo Slam right into the Roche pit. I thought more would be there, only Anti-Mage is there. So they get themselves the kill, they clear off this Earthshaker. Now they look for more with the Snowball coming down onto the Silencer. 1-2 shot onto the Silencer, killing him off. And now back into the Roche pit.
Huh. Looks like Anti-Mage is getting his Abyssal now instead. Decided he didn't have enough lockdown after that whole fiasco. I'm gonna go ahead and say the Infamous Young are gonna get at least one Barracks off of this Aegis. I mean, there's really no answer. They can't dish out enough damage to kill this Anti-Mage with a Wisp healing him. And they especially can't do it twice, so I think they're gonna try to get their lanes out and get in a position to push.
Weaver farming right behind them. Interestingly enough, he's gonna walk right into the Wisp, so now they know he's here. He's got to get out. He can't really commit to getting that kill onto the Wisp, and now goes up to the high ground near this Nature's Prophet. So there's the Bloodthorn, Sprout, and should be the kill with the ulti following it up. Nature's Prophet with another one. He's now 11-0. So 29-10.
Dire's getting ready to push. All the lanes are almost out.
20,000 gold lead up against Alchemist, excuse me.
Yeah. It's a 20,000 lead at 30 minutes as well. I mean, Infamous basically had no space to farm this game. Only the Alchemist was getting farmed, really.
Look for this tier 3. There's the stun on the Ember, but nothing really to follow it up. Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains to come out both on the Earthshaker and the Alchemist. Meanwhile, they get the kill on that Earthshaker. Will finally drop. They take the tier 3. They look towards the Necro. He's going to die off very quickly. Forced to buy back. They're taking these racks with ease. 24,000 net worth ahead, and there's really no answer for Infamous.
It really isn't. I mean, they still have the Aegis. They still have the cheese on the Ember.
There's the stun. Alchemist trying to make something happen. Go for the weakest hero. Not going to find anything. Necro dies to the BKB Nature's Prophet. They kill off the Alchemist as well. A little bit of all chat BM. Both these teams are together in the same organization, so probably not real bad blood, but GG is called by Infamous, and Infamous Young is going to go on to the finals against SG Esports tomorrow. Enough.
The Infamous Young, they had a pretty rough start for the Anti-Mage. The Anti-Mage didn't really die, but he didn't get the farm he needed. Where Infamous Young really went well with was their Ember, Tusk, and Nature's Prophet. Really wreaked a lot of havoc and really helped their team pull ahead for the Anti-Mage to just farm up the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, Infamous Young, they were down 1-0 against Infamous in this series. Win the next two, move on to the finals. They look very good doing it. 12-1 on the Ember, 13-0 on the Nature's Prophet. They played everything perfectly that game, and that's why they're going to be moving on to the next round, the finals of this closed qualifier for the South American region. and that'll be coming up tomorrow. So that'll be there tomorrow. We're done here tonight. Thank you for joining us for this 6.5 hours of casting of South American Dota. We appreciate it. I'm your caster, Bcop, joined here by Franz. I'm at Bcop92 on Twitter. He's at Hello Franz on Twitter. Follow us here on Twitch as well. Find out when we're streaming, when we're casting, and you'll know only if you follow us. So we'll be back tomorrow, possibly. We'll take a look, and thank you guys for watching us, and have a good night. Thank you for watching Infamous Bowl 2017.